Maybe. Maybe not. Let's see. Oops. What did I just do? Oh my gosh. Yeah, we sure are live. Okay, let me check here. Oh man, I need to kill that. There we go. Okay. Oh, hey Marine. What up? I just went live, like, not even just a few minutes ago. So, let's see here. I'm trying to... There we go. I have, like, different things happening. So, like, I have a phone set up, I have a desktop, I have a tablet, and I have my laptop all set up here. So I'm trying to, like, get things moving. It didn't notify you? That's interesting. And kind of sad. Um... maybe it'll do it like in a few minutes. I don't know. Um, we're live. Let me put this out. So yeah. Today we're gonna be doing a few things. We're gonna be talking about, like, of course, paths, the new update, and everything else that's going on. I don't know why my tablet's being weird. This is strange. I need to fix this. Hang on, y'all. Sorry. Like, it's showing me the chat at a very weird time. When it just shouldn't be. Is it here? Yeah, it's there. Okay. Well, first off, we'll start with, how's everyone doing today? I'm here because, like, and I'm even in comfy clothing. Like, I got my Smunchy Games shirt on. I'm wearing, my sweatpants. But I'm here because normally I wouldn't be here at this time, especially on a Friday. But the whole thing that happened with, like, the tornado stuff, and I don't know, like, it's one thing if they send out an email because they're, like, not as concerned about that type of stuff, but it's a totally different one when you get some, like, top-level execs coming by people's desks going, hey, you need to go home now. And I'm like, what the heck? So, yeah. What? Who's weird? What do you mean by weird? Me? Poser, I too am in my Smunchy Games shirt and sweatpants. We're Twinkies, Jake. We're Twinkies. At least I think that's Jake. Yes, that is Jake. Okay. At first I thought it said Nerdlopedia, but it doesn't. Yeah, we're Twinkies. If I had... I know, and I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm waiting on communication. So, from our friends that print stuff. I didn't even put this out on Twitter that we're live. I guess I should, huh? Let's see here. We're live. Oh. Yeah. So, oh, Jake says I was on the Nerdlopedia account, but I chose to be on my personal one for once. I'm wearing my Akenta Cat's Cradle shirt instead. That's still one of my favorite shirts. I really love that shirt. I haven't even printed one for myself, by the way. So, like, Marine, I think you're the only one that has that right now. Like, it's that exclusive. Like, none of the staff, like, you're just it. It's like, that's pretty awesome, actually. Go you. But yeah, so we'll wait for a few more to get in here, but before I, like, dive into this, because I know I'm streaming at a really odd time. Like, I'm noticing my routine is, like, for some reason I like to stream from, like, 7 until midnight. I don't know why. I just do that on Fridays normally, but today it's like, I think what I'll end up doing is I may stream from now until like 5 or 6, and then I'll cut it off, and then I'll come back and I'll stream more tonight because there's a bunch of stuff I'm gonna do, and I actually kind of want to show some things about my schedule and like my work stuff and share it with y'all, as far as like tabletop and all that stuff. So, um, yeah, you've never seen it, Jake? I'll have to find the art for you and show it to you. Or Marine, if you want to post a picture in the Discord of you wearing it, or just a picture of the shirt or whatever, like, you should do that. Tag Jake in it. It's a pretty great little cartoon shirt. It's one of my favorites, so. Yeah, I know your schedule looks insane. I don't even want to think about it. There's too much. But yeah. So I don't know if we're gonna get like a flood of people at this time, but I guess you never know. I don't know. What I do know, and maybe, oh, you know what? I'll just do this. We're live on Twitch, talking. I don't even know what that was. Don't quote me on it. I don't even know what I just said or what I did. My brain just happened and it went through. That's so weird. What am I looking for? Is that what I'm looking for? That's what I'm looking for. Here we go. So I mean, I don't know. I know I asked y'all this, but I don't think you answered me. Have y'all been having a good day then? Like everything going all right for you? No tornadoes? None of that happening for y'all? Jake says, Pat's, anime stream, Pat's right! Oh yeah, because y'all are doing the, so anyone who's like just joining or watching the VOD later, like you're literally watching this at a later time tonight, go and check out Nerdlopedia, because they will be live streaming, D&D. So, yes, go watch that. Let's see. I'm alive, but I'd rather not be at work. Yeah. So you wish you had a tornado right now is what you're telling me, Jake. You wish you had a tornado thing happening in a hailstorm. Marine, yeah, everything is great for me. These last few days have been nuts. There's so much happening. Yeah, dude. I can't wait. Because you're right, there's a lot happening. Annie, some pretty intense freezing rain with some high winds over here, but no tornadoes. Oh, okay. Sounds like Washington, right? Or wherever that's at. East Coast? West Coast. Wow! I don't know where I'm going. Jake, no, I'm working from home. Oh, okay. So then you really don't want there to be a tornado then. Alright, so it was the opposite spectrum of what I thought that you were saying. Jeez. Y'all are great. So, oh yeah, there's the shirt. Marine just posted it in Discord. For those of you that are watching that don't know we have a Discord, you should join our Discord. It's below. And you get to see all the crazy awesome things we do here at Smunchy Games. Yeah, there it is. Gosh, I love that so much. It's such a great one. And for those wondering that are in the Discord, he posted it in the channel under Creative in Art and Design. So, remember, kids, Kent Cat's Cradle. Oh, it's so good. Oh, dude, I had a Pop-Tart earlier, and it's weird because I totally forgot that we bought Pop-Tarts because we don't really, I don't know, I guess we just don't really eat a lot of Pop-Tarts or things like that. So I gave, and this was when my family was down here in Austin with me, And I gave one to Ray. I was like, "Hey, here's your case." Actually, she took it from me because I was gonna keep it, but she took it and left. And then I have this entire case of Pop Tarts, and I totally forgot about it. And I'm like looking in it, and I'm like, "Oh my gosh, I will not finish this in like the next 2.5 months. There's so much in there." I was like, "Who needs these many Pop Tarts?" But I had one, so it was the first Pop Tart I've really had in a long time. So, yeah, didn't mean to. That was kind of random, the Pop Tart thing, but it's so true. Um, Jake, yeah, no, a tornado shows up and I'm screwed. Um, gotcha. So, any whoozin'. What I wanted to. Oh, Jake says Pop Tarts on my breakfast food. Okay, that's fair. I mean, like, typically my breakfast food is like either a Cliff Bar. I don't know if y'all ever had a Cliff Bar. They're pretty good. Um, because there's just a packed ton of protein in it. Or I will have eggs of some kind. Like, yeah, that's me. I have to have protein for the day. At least in the morning, or I can't think. I can't get things done because, like, as y'all know, I'm very much like a night owl of sorts. So waking up in the morning is really hard for me. I hate it, to be honest with you. Annie says, I had a cinnamon pretzel Pop-Tart last night. Pretzel? What? They have cinnamon pretzel Pop-Tarts? That's crazy. I'm looking this up. Cinnamon pretzel Pop-Tarts. Oh my lord. This thing, y'all. What? What? Oh, dude. That's crazy awesome. Oh, that's chocolate. Oh, jeez. Wow, that's dangerous. I shouldn't be looking at this, because then I'm going to want to eat this. Okay. Dude, they have Pop-Tart socks! On Etsy! Who wants Pop-Tart socks? Dude, those are awesome! Dude, they have Skittles socks? I didn't know people made socks like this. Sorry, that was like, wow, that was a weird chain, right? Like, Pop-Tarts and socks. Like, now we're in socks. Tom and Jerry. Space Jam. Oh. Oh, those are great socks. How good. Jake says, the more we have in the house, the less often I will need to go to the store. Yeah, that's okay, that's fair. I mean, I would share my case with you then if you were here. Yeah, there's a lot. Annie, hella weird. Really, the pretzel Pop-Tarts are that strange? Okay. I'll have to, I don't know. Can we get Pat socks? Maybe, that's kind of cool, right? Marine, I was in a constant state of hype. Yesterday alone, we had 2 DLCs announced for Pokemon Gen 8 with 200 plus new Pokemon in each one. Oh, that's a big deal. Wow. I didn't see that. The discontinuation of the tradition of re-releasing Pokemon games in the same region with new mons. Oh, wow. Monster Hunter World Iceborne released. Oh! And Paths 1.8.7 was released. Oh! That is a constant state of hype, dude. That's legit. That's pretty great. And it all, like, hit at once, I bet. Or, like, was it spread throughout the day? Was it, like, you know, Pokemon, Monster Hunter, Paths, like, that's how it went? That's pretty great. Jake, wait, Iceborne is out? Oh my god, that's amazing, dude. I gotta go make a purchase. There you go, Jake. Go do it. I'm gonna stream it as soon as the stream ends. If you want, you should go stream it now if you want. I mean, I don't want to keep you from that. Here, this is, whatever you want to do. I don't know. Paths' Tabletop, Monster Hunter's video game. They're both really great. So, yeah, Pokemon was at 9 a.m. Monster Hunter was at noon. Pathsing at like 7. Yep. There you go. Right around the clock. All right, I'm gonna close out the socks here, and the Pop-Tarts. Let me look in chat, see who's here. Okay. So, smaller crowd, that's good today. Maybe more will join later. But first off, I want to show you all this. I don't know if you saw this posted by Leo or Blue 2 Days or Tuesdays. He goes by those. Hey Nick, what's up? Good. I'm glad it decided to work. Mine did too. Um, but this is incredible. So remember how we were all talking about like lingua burritos and stuff last stream? So these are lingua. They can take different forms of creatures, right? So like, well, like different things. So here you see like swallow for the bird, and then here you see like on this deer it says spring, and then it says deer, like, you know, Dear John on it. It's really awesome to see this page. This is probably my favorite. One of my, I know it's so hard because they're all so good when Leo does these, but man, this one's right there with the Rosetta Remnants one. Like, oh, so good. Um, just man, if you aren't following him on Twitter, you definitely should be, because his content's amazing, right? So I'm sending out the tweet right now to y'all, the link to this one, so you can follow him and retweet it if you'd like or whatever. But, whew, it's a pretty one. Like, I love the lingua so much. They're one of my favorite things about parslings, aside from just parslings as a whole, because parslings as a whole is just awesome. But yeah, lingua are beautiful, and I really love how he did this like swallow, right? Like they kind of look like normal birds, but then when they start flying and like opening their mouths, they just are definitely not. So, yeah, I just awesome stuffs. I don't know how I was not following them. I've purchased Iceborne. I just need to get it installed. Okay. But yeah. So that's Parslings. Go follow Parslings on Twitch. And now we get to what we are going to talk about today. So, Path's World of Adia had an official release last night. Yeah, last night. Wow. Like, it's weird because my last night and today has blurred. Like, literally, I felt like I just got done speaking with Jake, because that's how recent it felt and really was. So, I'm going to send y'all the official dev diary that Jake wrote. Jake is in the chat too if you want to ask him any questions as we're going through all this stuff. So feel free to ask anything you want. And if you are watching the VOD, because I know there are a lot of you, and that's something maybe our regulars here in stream don't know, is that there are a lot of you that watch this VOD. So if you do watch the VOD and you want to have those questions answered, I know it might be a little more difficult later, but you should go to Discord, pop your questions in the Discord chat. You don't have to just message me directly. You don't have to just message me through a DM on Twitter. You don't have to just send me an email or a text or, you know, a Facebook post. You can ask us directly in the Discord because we're all there. So if you have like a question about the ambassador stuff, or like how we're doing Twitch, hit up Marine. If you have a question here about like paths, for example, for the mechanic side of this, and you really just want to understand what this whole release is about, message Jake. He's in chat, or anyone else too. We have tons of people there. To be fair, it's also a Discord too where there's a lot of networking. So if you are someone who is trying to get your foot into the industry of tabletop, or whether it's art or writing or game design or anything, marketing, whatever, go to the Smunchy Games Discord for sure. So, with that said, yeah. So Jake's saying he will attempt to answer you. You know, just busy most of the days, and it's true. Like, to be fair, when we go through this update, you're gonna see how big, like, man. And if you missed the other updates, because this is 1.8.7, right? The other updates. So actually, let's go back real quick. We'll track. Because we didn't actually start doing the dev diaries until 1.8.4. Okay. So 1.8.4, go to smunchygames.com, you'll see this on here. This was one of our very first dev diaries. Alright, and it'll tell you everything that's kind of in that first one, and it's a smaller one. But as you go through, you'll notice it got bigger and bigger. So like 1.8.5, that dev diary covered like the warrior. It covered a bunch of other changes, right, within 1.8.5. And then we get into 1.8.6, which was huge. Like this, the release before this last one was like a really big deal because we actually introduced the faction system. So if y'all aren't familiar with the faction system in Paths, you should definitely check this out as we go. And I'll cover some of those things for you too, because I know we didn't do a live stream on 1.8.6, and some of you have been asking me, which is why I'm doing this right now. Because I kind of just wanted to see if, you know, people were still like which phase they're in right now, or are you just like fine reading it, or do you want us to actually go over? And it sounds like you wanted us to go over with all the messages I received. So, yeah, it did take a long time. Oh, let's go to chat here real quick. Marine says, it's funny that you said that. Just yesterday I helped a friend on mine who's terrible with computers with setting up OBS. They've been streaming most of today. That's great. But yeah, so... Oh, I just saw what Annie said too. You did less than 12 hours ago. Yeah, I know. It's like so recent. But, yeah. You need to look at the faction system. Yeah, I think, Marine, I think you saw it. And then you kind of were off on character creation for a while because that's what you were having fun with, I guess. But that's why I'm covering this now, is because I'm realizing that I could have done a better job marketing this one, which is weird because we had like so many people see it. But I think it's important for y'all to see the faction system and what it entails. You also have a lot of the other classes in here too, like the priest and the ranger was released inside of 1.8.62, and then all the faction rules, and then a bunch of other fixes if you want to read that. The two factions we have right now, of course, are what you see here, the banners, right? And credit for art on this one goes to Adam Bassett, who actually designed Frey, and he designed these banners you see for the Kinsworn and the Society. So Kinsworn has all the hands on it, and then Society has the sword going through the crown with the triangle. And then the art behind it, which you can't really see, is kind of blurred, that goes to Jamothy, because he's amazing. I haven't talked to Jamothy in years, but man, he did great. So we're gonna now go into 1.8.7. Alright, and don't worry, I will provide you a link to all of these things. If you want the link early, and you want to actually look through the guidebook yourself, you can. It is public, and I don't know why this says 1.8.8. I actually need to rename this to 1.8.7. It's 1.8.8. We'll talk about that too. So if you use the link and go to the Google Drive, this is what you're going to get. And I'll actually pop that in here for y'all, so you have it. Alrighty. Let me see here. Oh, was it Jake? That's okay. Things happen. Yeah, there is a lot of depth to the Ranger. It is a pretty technical class. You know, and for those of you that are here watching, and like you're going through the book, you're going through everything that we're doing, what you're seeing here, and this is kind of what I wanted to talk about. So as we get into 1.8.7, the last patch, the last update for Pat's World of Adia is one public update, is 1.8.8. That's it. So what that means is this is the second to last official update to release, because from there we're done with the player guidebook. What? Yeah, it's nuts. So we'll be officially done with playtesting. That was weird. Sorry, my ear. Anyway, get back to this. yeah, so we'll officially be done with playtesting, and I know a lot of you are like, wow, that's crazy, because it's been so long, right? Like, some of you have been going through the playtest stuff with me for like 3 years, even more. For those of you that might be watching this VOD later too, or if you're here with us on stream and I don't know it, you've been around a long time and you've seen a lot of changes. So, um, yeah. So it's been forever. And the fact that the player's guidebook here will be officially finished is, like, from a development perspective, is pretty insane. Um, I don't know, it kind of gets me a little emotional because it's the game is so good. The world is amazing, and of course I'm biased on all this, but whatever. You know, but like the amount of effort that's been put in is just freaking insane. I mean, I had one person who just because we had a bunch of people flood into the docks last night when I posted this, and I got a message from someone. They're like, because they haven't actually seen anything we were doing, they just saw some of the art and they were like, "Man, this is amazing. I want to know more." And I was like, "Well, before you dig too deep, hold off because we got an update coming." They're like, "Okay," and and I sent that to them, and they they they're going through it. They're like, "Dude, there's a lot here," and I was like, "Yeah." I was like, "What did you expect?" And they're like, "Well, I don't know, but man, we did not expect this level of like amazingness from, a smaller dev company like y'all, like a tabletop company." And I was like, "Why is that?" And they're like, "Well, because this is like, big boy quality. This is like Wizards of the Coast and Paizo stuff." I was like, "Well, that's what we're striving for, so we're gonna try and compete." They're like, "That's amazing." But they loved it. They were like, "I'm gonna have to like read this over the weekend because there's so much to dig into." And I was like, "Yeah." So that was really good. But I thought y'all might like to hear that too. Some of you might laugh a little bit and chuckle because you already know like how deep it goes. I mean, Marine just a few minutes ago was like, "Dude, the Ranger is a class with depth." So, um, yeah. And we only had 2 designers at most throughout the year. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, like it's crazy, like the team structure and how that works. It's just, man. Anyway, all right. So let's go into this a little bit. Like I had said, this is the second to last patch. So 1.8.8. I don't remember the official release date. Jake might know the official release date for that update, but I'll let him confirm in chat here, and then I'll say it over voice for those that are listening. Maybe you're doing the dishes. I don't know. Sometimes that happens too. Nick says, "Geez, I just hope they say that about Tidebreaker." I hope so too, and I think they will. I mean, like that, we're known for our quality, man. We put out great stuff. Marine, yeah, you guys really did. Yeah, we sure did. When it comes to the development on Paths, dude, it was... I mean, just last night alone, so, like, we started our Paths meeting at 8 Eastern, okay, 7 p.m. for me, Central. And I left the voice chat, so we went from then all the way, I left at 2:30 Central. Or no, it wasn't 2:30, it was like 2:10, 2:15 Central Time, which was like 3:10:15 for, Jake and Bailey, and like even Annie was like really late with us, right? Tyler was there, like Chase was there, like it was a big deal. Like we went on for 6, 7, 8 hours straight of like development, and because this is it, like it's in the start, for those of you that are trying to make your own tabletop RPGs that are watching, because I know we get a lot of other game designers that aren't a part of Smunchy Games that will come in and like want to know about how we do our systems and stuff like that. Every phase is always different for all of our games and what we do. They always kind of start off slow, just because we have so much to slog through. Like we'll feel like we're getting something done really, really fast, and then all of a sudden we'll realize that we haven't even covered like a percentage of what we really need to do. And that's purely because something we do as a company, and I highly recommend this to anyone who is developing their own game. You always want the user feedback first. You want user validation to make sure that like the game that you're making, one, is awesome, but two, it kind of calms your nerves a little bit, in general. Like I know that I think is it the RPG development Reddit or the Discord. Anyway, there's a lot of great designers on there too, and they're very indie, or they're starting for the first time. And if any of them are watching, or whomever, or this gets shared with them, they're a great place. You should go there, communicate with people, but it's a little different. Like when their nerves get kind of riled up, because it's hard. It's hard to get feedback and critique because you want people to love your stuff. So for us, us here at Smunchy Games, we know that the critique and feedback is going to be intense because that's just how gamers are. But it's not because they want to be cruel. It's because they want a good game. So now, to be fair, like when you're taking that feedback, you don't want to like take all of it. Take some of the good parts, right? Some of the parts that are consistent, and then like you can move on. Anyway, we won't get into that because this isn't a development stream right now, but just a little tip going forward. And if you want to talk with any of our designers in Discord or in Twitch chat today, you actually have a few of our designers here. Even some of our writers are here right now in the Twitch chat. You should definitely chat with them if you're available. And I know it's a weird early time for y'all, because normally I'm not this early on Twitch, but if you just so happen to do that, or reach out to them on Discord later. So, let's see. Alright, so let's talk about what this patch covers. And I'll let y'all go read through it later. This actually, right here, in the first paragraph, this actually gives you a link. So if you miss the link in Twitch, to go to the guidebook, you can get it either on the Discord, in the Discord channel, or you can get it here, within this first paragraph of the update. So you just click this little here button. And in time, we'll make it more obvious, but it is what it is. Because soon, you're not going to need that. You can actually get the real book. So what does this patch cover? For this round, we overhauled the equipment for paths. They are not drastically different, but a few things have been improved upon. So that's kind of what this whole thing was about, right? This patch was about weights, adventuring gear, equipment, so weapons and armor, a lot of awesome, crazy things. But then there was like cleanup and those things going through this. So I'm not gonna like read this verbatim because I feel like that would be a lot for me to do. But if you want to go in and read it and get like the gist of what this was about, I think it's important to. Like pricing and weights, I know were a big deal for a lot of players, especially as of this last month or two, over the holidays. And there were a lot of people who came in and they were like, I hate weight mechanics, they suck. And then the second one is like, how the hell do I buy anything? Like, this is insane. There's so much, like a bag is like how much, right? Well, what we did is, and you'll learn this when you go through it, our economy, and how we kind of calculated this. So for like an unskilled labor person in the game, they would get paid 3 copper a day, which is kind of crazy when you think about it at that scale, because in most other games, like especially Dungeons and Dragons, right, it's gold flying everywhere. You're like, oh, and we're like Oprah and D&D. We're like throwing gold out. You're like, you get 5 million gold and you get 10 million gold, right? Like, but that doesn't happen in paths. In paths, if you hand a farmer a gold, they can retire for the rest of their life, which is crazy. So gold, as we went through the way that the economy works, and Jake can actually speak to more of it here in the Twitch chat as I'm talking, if he's got anything else to add to this. It's so amazing to see those differences, as well as how much these things cost. And we really want feedback on this one in particular. So if you're someone right now who's running a campaign, or you're playing solo by yourself in like Secrets of Tyner Dane, or you're playing with a group in Tyner Dane, or you're playing Trade Trouble, or you're running whatever, your own stuff, going through your own simulations, please let us know about the prices and the weights. This is a really big deal to us because we want to make sure we get that right. And we kind of wanted that more like a realistic value for the weights. That was another big thing because we were just having such a hard time with it, right? Like an orc, it's weird because when we were going through it, an orc trying to put on paladin armor, like right, like they're a paladin, they're trying to put on metal armor, and like they put it on and then they fall over because they can't stand up because it's too heavy, right? We ran into that a few times, and then actually I remember running into that with Fen a while back, and then again with Annie and Marine, and then that's our internal staff. But outside with other play testers too, like over the holiday, I remember a few of our testers that joined us. They were just like, I can't stand. What do we do? So we just put them in a cart and dragged them. The Tuskar would drag them around and like pick up the human and throw him at the people with a sword. So like the human became the weapon. Anyway. So. Oh, sorry. Like, I don't know what's going on, but I think I might be getting sick. And that scares me because I don't want to get sick. Oh. Oh, because it's my ear. It's not here, but it's like air trapped. Anyway, okay, sorry, got us off topic. But anyway, going back. Yes, Tuskar throwing humans, human became the weapon. That's just what happened. So I'm kind of glad that, this is what it is. Yeah. Maybe I just need to do this. I'll just do this. So the adventuring gear, that was another thing that got updated. I know there were a lot of people that asked about the adventuring gear too, and why, like they couldn't take things or what was in them, or, we kind of need to know when we're doing the RP things, and there it is. So now you got it, and that's pretty great. Now, the weapons and the armor, I'm gonna let y'all go through that because there's a lot that was updated. Now, the mechanics are obviously still the same, like base core mechanics, all that stuff, but the armor and the weapons themselves got updated. Also, if you don't know, there were two new keywords, and I think they were actually put in 1.8.6. Jake will have to correct me on this, but fortune and misfortune. If y'all have not seen these right here, I'm highlighting them in blue on the screen. Go and read what they do because they're really important. They're going to be used a lot, and how they're used. So go check that out for sure. And then I'm trying to remember a couple other things too. Oh yeah, and of course read up on shields. This was a new one, so I'll just read this one verbatim. Now the shields always add their PA and MA. So PA and MA, for those who don't know, are physical armor and magical armor. As long as they are equipped and block is more useful, we wanted to make the shields strong to help reflect just how important they were. So that was a big change too, because there are some things now that you could try out, right? So for example, we had a tester who was a mage, and they took the mage path originally, and then I think it was by tier 2 they went to paladin. And as they're in paladin with mage, right, they're kind of the tankier version of the paladin, so they're wielding a wand in their right hand, and in their left hand they were wielding a shield. So they're like a mageddon or a palage. Anyway, that was really interesting to see someone do. So wand, shield, mageddon. And that was a thing. So I'm kind of glad, that we discussed that, and it was really great to see that kind of formulate and come to life. Jake did a really great job on it, so good job, man. And if y'all have any questions about here with this math, so a full set of gear, you should now reach a maximum roughly of 15 without the use of a shield. And then we kind of explain the math behind that and why it's that way. So there's a lot of detail there. Oh, hey, Initiative, welcome to the stream. Gonna have to make an Oprah meme. Go do it! um, you really like the fortune misfortune mechanics? Good. That's good to hear. Yeah, I do too. I think those two specific mechanics added a lot to the gameplay. Like we were missing that, and that was really cool. Um, and then like to call that technique the arcane wall for the Majidin. Yeah, we are the arcane wall. That might actually be really cool. Anyway, Jake says, so for those listening and not reading, because you may not be able to right now, PA and MA overall got nerfed for later scaling, so the abilities that grant PA and MA are a lot more powerful. So take that in a note too. Those keywords were honestly because I was tired of typing them. Yeah, well, and to be fair, like it's so good too for game masters that want to use that in their own way. I'm personally really excited to see what game masters are going to do now with this, with misfortune and fortune, and how those mechanics work. It's just going to be really fascinating just to see what they do, and I'm really curious to hear how they display that in their games. I'm curious to think how the players will react to that and how they use it to their own strategic advantage. I don't know. It's going to be interesting. Marine says, I absolutely love that you have currency that is actually worth something. Yeah, us too. So that was a really big deal to me personally. I was tired of playing games where money didn't matter. And like to some degree, I get it. You know what I mean? Like, of course, if you're a game master and you want to tell your story, you tell your story. But we are offering you the option and the ability to make money matter in your games. So, Marine says, I feel that the copper and silver coins are worthless in D&D so much. That's, yeah, exactly what just Jake said. That's why we did that, is because in D&D, copper and silver is kind of worthless. It feels like a waste. Like, why do you even have that then? Why not just go, like, I don't know, like the video game route of Diablo, where gold pours out everywhere and you have a bunch of gold goblins running around and you're just picking it up for repairs? Like, I mean, that's kind of what it felt like, right? So here in Paths, we made sure, and we set it in stone. It is stamped. Silver, gold, or silver and copper, especially copper, it has a value, it has a worth. So, yep. Marine says the most useful thing I have seen someone use a copper coin was a lightning rod. Yep. Oh yeah. Okay. So again, reading this from Jake, the change in the currency meant a change in the crafting amounts as well. So if you go into any of the crafting rules or you go into like any of the crafting updates, you'll see those changes from this update with the currency. Jake says, I just realized was that I didn't mention we added the destructible items. Oh yeah. Okay. See, this is why we stream. This is great. So yes, destructible items are a thing. I'll get to them in the book. We'll look at them, but they're really cool. So, like a rock, like if you're hammering on a stone, or like a home. I don't know. Like we have destructible items now, so that's a thing. You can actually do that. Initiative says that's what Stones of Jordan are for. Yeah, the SOJs. I know. Jeez. Put SOJs in paths. Stay a while and listen. In the world of Adia, Diablo showed up. It's like, what the heck? Okay, anyway. Moving on from that. So there were some removed tables here. And if you read anything too out of this, I really want like the testers here to read this part the most, because you're going to be like, why? And I want to address this one, okay? It's a decision that we made going forward, and I'll read this. So over the last few patches, we removed a few tables from the player's guidebook that previously were in the equipment section. These were things like instruments, vehicles, animals, and trade goods. For these items, we wanted to include them in the future books. One of those books we are currently developing to add more lore, and the book will let us get more options for some of these tables. So because we are now in 2020, I can actually tell you what some of those books are. This one that we're referencing specifically, it is going to be a field guide. So the field guide to Central Wallenheide. And I'm going to explain this a little bit. This is going to get interesting. So put on your seatbelt. Because even on like the Paths team alone, it's kind of amazing. Let me just explain. All right. So the field guide to Central Wallenheide is essentially, it's a field guide. It's like an expansion in a way, a mini expansion almost. Well, this one will definitely be. But they're expansions for Paths. So in the Kickstarter that's coming up in August, that's when we're aiming for. Okay, and that's me being transparent with y'all. We don't know a date. Don't go marking your calendars. Okay, but a soft date is August. And we're hoping to have a field guide for you of the very first type of expansion for Paths, World of Adia. In this expansion, and we'll talk about this more at a later date, because I know a ton of you have like questions already. But these tables that you're seeing, they're going to be moved into the field guide. And we're doing it this way, and we wanted to release the field guide with the player's guidebook because the PGB, yeah, Jake just said it right there. Trim down how massive this book is already. It's like, dudes, I mean, seriously, when you look at the player guidebook right now, like in just the document alone, okay, here, let's do this real quick. 346 pages in a Google Doc, all right? This is not a formatted book right now. What that means is when this goes into format, this could actually be possibly even double the size. So like you're talking like an Encyclopedia Britannica book. We'll see. I don't know. That's something that I have to chat about with Charlotte, or who's our layout designer, and we'll go from there and see what happens. But it's just insane. This is why this table's removed, and I know some of you that are watching the VOD, it'll kind of come as a shock to you. Initiative says that's a much better cane than I can do. Stay a while and listen. Sorry. I'm going to do my best to add in Deckard Cain type character somewhere. There you go. Jeez. So Marine, all right, let's go to questions, okay? Because I kind of put that remove table there, or to the chat, I mean. So Marine says, if I was playing a Tuskar and some dweeby smart person made me mad, I could smash his house and beat him with parts of it. Yes. Yes, you could. You could do that. Because we have destructible tables now. They're in the book. And he says, Deckard Cain just left the Diablo-verse and came to Adia. See, that's what happened to him. Like, all these portals, like, he was just trapped in Tristram. That's what it was. Now he's like, the scrolls, right? Like, that's why he was saying the scrolls the whole time, because he knows in Adia, right, the magic scrolls that we have, that kind of bled in, and they were like, the demons, the abyssals are coming from the void, right? And then, like, they just followed him. And that's actually when Diablo just, like, manifested himself, and Mephisto was like, hey, bro, we should just chill and, like, do our own thing and forget the abyss. And Diablo's like, okay. And that's what happened. That's pretty good, actually. Okay. All right. Jake says, and trim down how massive this book... Yeah, okay, we already talked about that. Think much like the Sword Coast adventuring guide from 5e. Yeah, for the field guide. Yep. So 346 pages is a small number because of the news. Oh, yeah. Oh, man. I didn't even think about that, Jake. That's insane. So this book's going to just get larger. How many spells do we have, Jake? Was it like 200 something? 240, 50, something like that. Um, just be careful whose faction they were a part of. Fosca happy. Only destructible tables. Chains are invincible. And Spongy's going off on a strange tangent. Yeah, dude, that's normal. Like, I mean, it's me. Soft, melty, crunchy, and tasty. 244? Okay. That's insane. So, I'll let Jake find that number, like, to confirm the number, but 244 spells? Dudes, peoples, you will have access to 244 spells right out of the gate with this player guidebook. This doesn't include, like, all the other things that are coming this year for it. Because we have modules that are releasing, we have field guides releasing, and that's insane when I think about that. Like, you have access to so many spells. Now, to be fair, of course, D&D has a ton too. Like they've been around forever though, and I guess that's kind of what I'm saying is you get like all of these spells right out of the gate. That's crazy. Just wow. So while Jake's confirming this, I'll move on. And we will talk about here what's next. All right. So as you all know, right, this is the second to last patch. Okay, Jake's saying cannot find it. That's okay. We'll call it 244 for now. Not to mention custom spells. Oh yeah, right. So that's another thing. If you don't know about this, you're new to Pat's World of Adia. Mages have custom spells. They have like experimented stuff. So, might have a spreadsheet somewhere with the number. Yeah, that sounds good. So we'll talk about here what's next. So since this is the second to last update, the last update is the last public update is 1.8.8. We'll be doing just to confirm anyone's questions or fears. Yes, we will have an internal dev update, 1.8.9 that we will be doing, which is kind of our catch-all for any other testing feedback or updates or anything before we hand this off to Charlotte and Irregardless. If you guys don't know who Irregardless is, they're an awesome design firm here. I'm just going to plug them because Char and Rob are such great people. I can't find... I thought I had the website. I guess I don't. Go check them out. Go check out Irregardless. But they're going to be doing this, so we want to make sure that all of these things in the 1.8.9 update are caught, and we're going to do our best. Granted, we'll still have plenty of time when we, during the Kickstarter, before it, during, and then post Kickstarter, because then we'll have a release, right? So we'll have the official launch, things like that, and you'll probably receive those books in 2021, because it's closer to the end of the year. So maybe sooner. I don't know. You never know. Right, like this is all speculation, but the truth is when it comes to this 1.8.9 patch, this update, we know that we're going to be non-stop combing through things. So now is the time to get your feedback in, I guess is what I'm saying. If you really think, like, oh, this is broken, or oh, this may need to be fixed, or, something that you want to point out to us, or whatever the case may be, between now and the end of... end of January, roughly, to early February is the time to tell us. Okay. Jake says, I have to make sure this table is right, but our spreadsheet says 248 spells. Okay, so 4 more than I thought. That's cool. So, there you go. Yeah, I mean, if y'all want to know about spells... feel free to ask. I know Marine's been playing a lot with the mage in general. So, him or Jake will probably be able to answer that. So here we go. Luckily, this section of the dev diary is getting shorter and shorter, right? Because we're moving on. So here are the main things we still have to do before the bulk of the work is complete. We will sadly only have one more, right? That's what I just talked about, one more update. Going to the printers. First item is creature update. So, for those of you that are playing, like Secrets of Tyner Dane has a creature update coming. And it's going to be finalized soon for Tyner Dane, but we updated the Chaldea. So they have some new stuff that'll be coming out for them, if you're interested in trying them out. And then this is the big one. Alright, so if you haven't read the last two diaries, or I think it's the last one is when this was announced. I'm going to read this one verbatim. I mentioned this in the last dev diary, but I did not mention that we had some extra work that needed to be done for the pre-production phase of our next core book, Creatures and Curiosities. So for those of you who don't know, we are working on a massive creature and curiosity book. Like, think the player guidebook, but like just creatures and curiosities. The other thing about this, though, just like the field guide, yeah, I'll get to that here soon, Jake. So, with the monster lab, so this is where this is going to get fun. So, creatures and curiosities, just like the field guide, is going to be done per region or section of the region. So, for example, the field guide that's going to be releasing is the field guide to Central Wallenheim. The Creatures and Curiosities book that we're talking about, this is one book filled with creatures and curiosities just for Central Wallenheim. That's insane. That's insane. What that means is there's going to be so many different types of books you can get for creatures and curiosities and the field guides to play in Pat's World of Adia. You will have so much content and things at your fingertips as a game master and even as a player that you'll just be able to do. It's crazy just how much content's in this. Now, some of you are wondering, when does Creatures and Curiosities come out? Well, Creatures and Curiosities, we're aiming for end of 2021. Okay? So you got about 18 months, 19 months. So about a year and like 3 quarters is when you'll see Creatures and Curiosities like officially out. Okay? Well, the reason why I'm not over-exaggerating, or I feel like I'm not over-exaggerating, is because it is a huge book compared to something like a module or a field guide, and it's not just one book. I think it's why I'm feeling that way, because this is it. This is like Central Wallenheim, but you actually have multiples of these, so it's actually going to be a pretty large book. I mean, it's not going to feel large at first for us, because I think we've already done it. Now, it's not going to be as large as like the player guidebook, is probably what Jake's mentioning here. It's not going to be that big, but it will be pretty large. So, but with that said, you should go through and read this, like what's been happening and all that. I will give like a brief, like a sneak peek to show y'all what's coming with this monster lab, because I think this is like, it's amazing. What Jake did with this is just incredible. Let me find everything here for y'all. Kind of give you a sneak peek behind the scenes. Alright, here we go. So, I can't fully speak to this the way I want to. Jake knows way more than I do, so I will let him talk about it in chat a little bit. But more or less, this thing, this monster lab that you see, is a step and a gateway into an actual book here, which I don't remember which one, but I do know that it's going to allow game masters to create their own creatures. That's why this is here. That's why this has been being experimented with, and why it's a thing. So, like, the size of a creature, right? I'll just put in a size 1 for now, and nothing's really changed. But if I put in, you know, like a size 2, the DV shifts, right? But then you get like a DR 1 up. So I'm not one to go into those formulas. That's a Jake thing. Because the math is like there, and this is all done for me. So, not saying that I'm bad at math, but Jake's better than me at it by a long shot in that regard. The explanation of it will be in Creatures and Curiosities. Okay, cool. So then y'all heard it here first. The explanation of the Monster Lab will be in Creatures and Curiosities. Start adding ability scores. Yeah, so like I can start adding ability scores to these creatures, right? I don't know, we'll say 10 agility. And then we'll say like 60 toughness, I don't know, 75 spirit, 54 intelligence. So it's not a very strong creature, or so it seems. And then we'll say like 30 social, right? So then as I was doing this, you know, the mods here of course shift, but then all of this changes. The DR, so this is like a 15 difficulty rating. The DV, the dodge value, I guess didn't really change too much, went up by 1. The HP changed, spirit, but all did these too. All of these different spell saves, which is pretty crazy. It's really awesome. That one is a magical powerhouse. Yeah, that's right. I was thinking of a magical creature when I was making this. So, it's really cool because like you'll see things like this. Like here, we have all these skills here that we can select from to create what we need to for the creature. And you also have traits, right? So we'll be adding more. These are all just examples. Test spell, right? There will be custom creature spells for the creatures that you'll be able to do. That's crazy too. And by that I mean add to in your thing. We'll actually have a list of them. And then we actually have like the equipment. It's so good. Resistances and immunities. I don't know if you want to talk about that, Jake. I won't. You can tell me though if you want to. At the moment, because you have all these like, you know, acid, bludgeoning, decay, demonic, energy, fire, frost, holy light, lightning, piercing, poison, psychic, slashing, sonic. So like all of these resistances. Let's see. Scrolling down has, oh yeah, so this has the attacks. Let me go over here. Okay, you'll be covering immunities. So that's something to expect, yeah, in 1.8 is the resistances, immunities, and vulnerabilities. Alright, so there's a sneak peek there for you. That's coming for creatures. So here's the attacks. Oh, but they aren't, yeah, okay, so they aren't the same as resistances and vulnerabilities in D&D. Right, they are different. But like these attacks, you know, like, I don't know, goo shot. 2. That's 1. That's on 2. 2. Mod. Strength. Strength? No. Spirit. Damage type? Acid. Condition? Acidic. That sounds great to me. What do you think, Jake? I don't know how to take that from here. That's another reason why I'm glad Jake's in here to kind of help guide that, and just to show the how this formula will work. It's odd that the average damage isn't calculating. Oh yeah, I don't know. That's why like these are first things, but it also kind of shows you too like how we're developing on the side. So in time, we'll actually make this an app, which would be really cool. But it kind of gives you this thing. Oh, you know what? I want to do like, I don't know, Arcane Sunder. 4d6. Also Spirit. And then like, I don't know, what do I want to give this guy? Energy? And then, I don't know, let's do like the chilled condition. Yeah, that's hot. I mean, it's cold. It's technically cold because it's chilled, but whatever. um, uh, there isn't that much more that needs to be shown. Something else I gotta fix. That's all right. Anyway, it's fun, right? Um, and I'm glad that we get to show you this early. So it's really cool because I'm about to clear all this, and you're just gonna see everything go away. Boom! Whoa! That's awesome. All right. So, with that said, Monster Lab, the Adia Monster Lab, is going to be a thing. And you'll see all of that reflect in the future. Surprised you didn't do Sever. I guess that's fair, Bailey. Like, I didn't think about that. I don't know. I guess I just wanted, like, I was thinking of, like, Chilled as, like, a crowd control type of thing. I don't know. Yeah. Damage and freezing. Alright. So, the second thing, we have been working on updating the spells. Oh, Jake. Here, I found them. Our estimate, so we have the estimate here for spells is 264. Is this still true? Okay, we need to update this then. So please go update that. So 248 is the actual estimate. Thank you. That's great though. So 248 will be, so ignore this, don't look at this. 248 will be the official estimate at the end. So lots of spells. And the final item, because we talked about spells a little bit, and I'll look through some of this here, but final item to our to-do is just to go over feedback. So like I said in the beginning of the stream, please give us feedback. If you want to make the game better, you want to see great things come from it, you have things that, you know, you're finding is kind of broken when you're playing, or whatever the case may be, please let us know. Join us in Discord. I mean, you can message me directly, like, you know, I'm available, but if you can go into the Discord and pop your feedback in the Discord, that will help me so much and the rest of the team. So, thank you. With that said, I want to, you know, if you are going to go into the game itself now, so let's start from here, okay? This is kind of what you're going to end up seeing when you log in, or when you go into Google Drive. And we're doing it this way on purpose, because it's still in development, right? You can leave comments, you can do all those fun things. I'm going to actually link the Paths World of Adia folder here for all of you that would like to either follow along, or you know, you want to play, or you're curious, or you just want to read on your own, whatever the case may be. This is the 1.8.7 public beta. Yes, the character sheets will be updated, because that's my fault. And I will own that. I'm the one who needs to update them. So, but what you'll see here is a welcome letter. So you can read the welcome letter. You'll see this read first document, so open that up. And here we are. Sorry. So you'll open up this read first document. It kind of tells you what's in here. Editable character sheets, pre-gen character sheets, Paths World of Adia player guidebook, the Trade Trouble module written by Bailey, which is amazing. You should check that out. The encounter cards, so you'll get all that. And I don't think the official last version's in there, but you get to use the test version of Trade Trouble. This document will contain basically log of updates, and this is kind of everything we went through. So if you want to know the very specifics of things, of these detailed pieces, it'll tell you in here. Tells you about the armor, like chainmail has been added, right? Armor that's been removed, the light shield, that are really into spell, what isn't. Monday we will be updating the creatures from Trade Trouble. Oh no, no, I didn't mean that one. I meant a previous existing one. So in time there will be another update for Trade Trouble, which is the future stuff. Because I haven't updated Trade Trouble in a long time. So, um, but yeah. So if for those of you that are playing Magic, like you're playing casters of any kind, um, we do have new magical implements. So we have a lesser Spirit Staff, and the original staff was renamed to Spirit Staff. So, um, yeah, it is. The Kriot is overpowered for the 3 to 4 player. Some crafting rules have been updated. Blocks have been updated. So again, we kind of went over this. And then these are fixes that you'll probably find out if you're playing one of these classes. So, or choosing one of these paths, depending on what you're doing. The Assassin Poison path has been updated. Monk Wanderer path. Beastmaster Hunter, Mage Spirit Alchemist, Paladin Ranger Warrior. Alright? Okay. So, once you've read through this, you can go through all the other updates too from the past if you're curious. And then actually go back to your folder, and you can then open the book itself, which is this. And I see some of you are already in here. Leopards and dinosaurs. Welcome. There will be some lore stuff being added later, but I'm going to go past that right now. And we're going to actually look at... I need to... There we go. Sorry, I was going to say my stream froze too. Can y'all still hear me? I hope so. Okay, good. Who's a demigod now? Oh, the Griot. Yeah, the Griot's a demigod. Basically, at this point, the way it's working. So I'm gonna go past the races because y'all, if y'all don't know the races, you should go check them out. They're pretty great. Check out the classes here because we just talked about those a little bit. We're going to go into... So here's the equipment. Alright, so here's the coinage. We actually talk about the currency of Adia. And we actually give you a little description. This may be slightly updated, but for those that are curious, all coinage of Adia is decorated with the fiery spirit magic gems of the Fiery Eternal. So like the symbol that's pressed into it. Representing his eternal flame on the coinage on the front. On the backs of each coin is a hammer and anvil, as well as the location as to where the coin was made. These were made in the forges of Jorgenheim. Alright, so the economy that we were talking about, the coinage that you can kind of see, there's a coinage conversion table, and then we even have the starting currency by class. So that's pretty interesting right there. So I know a lot of you were wondering, what do we start off with? Why do we start off with this much? What that also means is that the classes were updated, and we'll go back and look at that with what you receive. Because I know a lot of you were like, oh cool, I get to play Naked Tuskar. I'm going to go around and smack people with myself. Like, what? So, that's a thing. And for those that are curious, yes, mages start out rich. And there's a reason for that. It's because of what a mage uses and has. Something you'll know and learn about is that glass. Yep. Glass in Adia is actually not common. It's pretty rare. It's not like super rare, but it's rare enough to be expensive, and someone like a mage or a noble would have more glass than someone like, an assassin, just because of who they are. So, something to note there. and it's pretty fascinating when you go through it and you realize why, right? Like all the magical implements and like alchemy and all that stuff later on, but even just basic things, right? Like here, this basic adventuring kit. Wow, look at that. That was a great segue, like right there. I didn't even mean to do that, by the way. So thank you. I'll just give me a clap with that one. So here are just some, very simple things that are glass. They're kind of expensive. By the way, quick tangent. Fray cards are in here, so that means you can buy Fray cards in the game, like as you're playing. So they're like 15 copper for a deck of Fray cards. Which, if you are interested in Fray's coming to Kickstarter March 3rd, so y'all should go check out Fray. Yeah, where am I going here? Let me do this. Y'all should go check out Fray. It's a great little card game. 2-player game. You'll have fun with it, I promise. But you can also play it in the world. So, anyway, back to this. Buy Fray cards, but like, if you notice this flask, right? Like, all these things here. I don't know, is there something that we actually took out? Oh, so the magnifying glass, 75 copper. So when you think about it, an unskilled labor, like making 3 copper per day, a magnifying glass is actually really expensive. Like, that's a big deal. If you see someone like legit, if you have an assassin wandering around and they see someone using a magnifying glass, I personally, as the assassin, I'm gonna go take that. But that's just my character, I guess. But hey, so yeah, so that's a big deal. Let's go to chat here real quick. That is the GM rule. I'm perfectly fine with that idea. Yeah, it's up to you, man. Sounds good. So there's a lot of descriptions here now that have been updated. For some of you that may not have seen this, I don't know if this was a patch update ago or this recent one for sure, but there's like compass and core dial. This was actually, I remember someone asked me about this. You should go and read this here and what it's about, how it works. We also talk about the fire and flame kit. Kit includes 3 channeling gems, a cleansing cloth, and a holy symbol of the fire eternal. That's another one y'all were asking me about. And then you got your locks here, which you already know. Here you go. Glass. Magnifying glass. Spyglass. Okay, that's another one, right? Alright. Fortune. Where is it? Fortune. Where is it? Fortune. Fortune. Where's the fortune? I don't see your fortune. Anyway, alright, I'll move on. I'll let them handle that, because, toolkits. Alright, so this is also something that's been updated. You can see all the different kits we have here. There was a lot of effort put into the toolkits. I'm very impressed with them. So, everything. So we have alchemist's kit, an ammunition kit, a blacksmithing kit, cartographer's kit, cooking kit, disguise kit, fisherman's kit, forgery kit. This one's really cool. The glass blower's kit, gunsmith's kit, harvesting kit, leatherworking, medical, sewing, thieves, woodworking. Okay, these give you the description of each of them. This cooking kit I thought was really cool. I like the little meal quality table. Going through that. This glass blowers kit, I want to talk about this, and I'm just going to read it off to you because I just thought it was... It's simple, but it's awesome, This kit includes a glass blower's rod, a 12-inch set of tweezers, scoring knife, wool cloth, a crucible, tongs, and gloves. You must have access to a forge to craft glass. If you are not by a full forge, you can build a small forge from dirt and clay, taking 1 hour to create it. Having proficiency with this kit allows you to craft glass items that require this kit to craft them. That's awesome. It's really, really cool. And then here we have the food and drink. So this was slightly updated. I'm only pointing this out because 1, I love food, and 2, these are actual dishes in Adia. So we have the ghoul chelk noodle sunif, and spring chops and mashed jimdare. So those are like some actual dishes that are gonna have recipes put to them. Pretty excited about that too. So yeah, and then here's the containers. Okay, so there was a ton of people that wanted me to talk about containers. So that's what we're doing here. So the backpack, all right. Okay, this one's specifically marine. I'm calling you out right now on this one because you made such a good point on this like forever ago. Here it is now. Backpack weighs 5 pounds. It can carry 80. It costs 30 copper. The material is leather or cloth. Alright? And I'm calling you out in a good way, not a bad way. So, because I knew you were very passionate about the containers and like how things could be carried, what material they were, the cost, name, right? Yeah, right. And now, to be fair, again, like a 30 copper backpack is still pretty expensive because, like an unskilled laborer is going to work, make 3 copper a day. So it's still not cheap, but it's not so expensive to where you're like, oh, I must be Yelton himself. Why is everyone else poor? Right? Like, that's just, you don't have to worry about that anymore. So that's really important. But then there's other really cool things here too, and they're detailed to me anyway, like from what they were. They've been updated. So here you're gonna take a look. We have all these other things like chests, crates, barrels, sacks, right? But now we're getting into glass. Okay, I'm bringing up glass because it was just such a big thing. You have glass jars, glass bottles. These are all still, for those that have played a lot, these will look familiar. But you'll notice that we have spirit bottles. That word is important. And everything from glass jar down is actually pretty expensive silver. So you're handing out silver for this stuff. So now, as a player, I'm probably just going to start taking glass bottles and jars in the homes with me if I can carry them. Anyway. Alright. So then there's the adventuring packs. Different from the kits, but they contain other things, right? So we have the Arcane Pack, Cartographer's Pack, Fireforge Recruit, Hunters, Merchants, Spelunkers, Thieves, Travelers, Warriors. Alright? So you can buy them. I think some of the classes come with them, but we'll look at them, right? In a little bit. So you can read through that. Armor. Oh, did I skip over this? Weapon mods. Bigger is better. Let's see. Did I? Yeah, so here's the weapons list. Okay, sorry, I did skip this. I apologize. Weapons. Alright. So you'll notice here too, the cost has changed dramatically. So is the weight. Weights have changed for all the weapons. Cost has changed for all the weapons. Like a bow staff is 4 copper, right? Versus like a battle fan is 50 copper. And on top of that, the type. So I don't know if we called this out or not, but I'm calling this out because it was a big change to me. The type exotic matters. And it's there for a reason. Jake, feel free to explain that one if you want to. But exotic is a thing, and it's there for a reason. So yeah. So there's all those changes here. weight, weapon modifications. I'll let you all look through these weapon mods. You know, we have a night vision scope, the hook. I love that name so much. I didn't realize that's what it was called. The weapon now has a large hook piece of metal attached. What? Yeah, I didn't see this one. Using an action card instead of attacking the user can attempt a strength contest with an opponent to remove their shield. Okay, that's cool. I didn't realize that was in there. That's awesome. Go get yourself the hook. Put it on your stuff. Can I put... Oh yeah, okay, that's just weapons. I was like, man, I want to put the hook on my chest. Anyway, my chest armor. Just because. I don't know why. Anyway, armor mods. Here you go. Spiked armor, spiked knuckles, reinforced joints, lightweight spring heel, flined armor, bifocals, hidden pockets. Hidden pockets are going to be fun, personally. Because now I'm thinking of a character that's like, I have 10 pockets, and you don't know where they are. You're going to have to find them. A little creepy, but kind of great. Alright, so Jake states, exotic was our catch-all, so we wouldn't make things like the sling be labeled as a gun. Which is fair. Because, can you imagine putting a scope on a sling? Maybe a fixed bayonet on a sling. Channel your inner scorpion. Jake says there have been rules for adding weapon and armor mods for a while. They have been there. I'm just going over these. You know, some of these I haven't seen actually, which is strange, but some of them I just know that not everyone's dug that deep as of yet. Did I breeze over armor properties? Oh, I sure did. Sorry. Alright, so as with weapons, each type of armor has different properties. These rules represent some of those properties. So you have narrowed vision. While this piece of armor is equipped, the range on all your ranged weapons is at a maximum of 100 feet. Mount defense, shield only. While you're mounted with the shield, you do not need to expend a utility card to make the block action. It's pretty cool. Sever defense. For some reason I thought that said server defense. I was like, what? But no, okay. If you are the target of an attack that triggers sever, and if the armor that has this property is the target of the sever, you do not lose the limb, but this piece of armor no longer has this property. Oh. The armor can regain the property when repaired. The shield counts for the hand slot if it has this property. This next one is amazing to me, because it's a makeshift shield. You can use this to perform the block action. So, how do I want to give an example of a makeshift shield? I mean, you can kind of use anything as a makeshift shield. You could even use it. Hey, Jake, answer me this one. Can you use another person as a makeshift shield? ... They aren't armor, but yes. There you go. Well, I mean, okay, we won't go into that one, because we're on Twitch, because that would be kind of dark. Cover. While this is equipped, you are considered having half cover. Cumbersome. To equip this weapon, you need to have a strength score of 30 or above, or you are a size 2 creature or above. So this is actually really interesting to note, is the cumbersome one. I really want to know how y'all feel about this one. To me, it makes sense. Just wondering, you know. Curious on that. And then noisy. Noisy's great, especially, you know, for those of you that are game masters. You gain misfortune on sneak checks while this armor is equipped. So, Jake, what would be something that has noisy on it? As an example, like chainmail? I guess so, maybe. We added cumbersome because with those pieces of equipment, I believe we added extra mod slots. Oh yeah, that's true. That is true. Forgot about that. Marine says that makes sense, but I would say to remove the size 2 creature thing, since a larger creature would just need larger armor. I'll have Jake answer that one. If you scroll down to the armor, you can see the examples of all these. Okay, so let's find some noisy. Here's cumbersome pauldrons. Makes sense. Here's some noisy armor. Yeah, chainmail. Chainmail hood, chainmail shirt, chainmail pants. There you go. So, yeah. Jake says there's some physics things that make that incorrect. It's the square cubed law, but we can't talk about that outside of Twitch. Oh, yeah, I guess it's true. Alright, so y'all can kind of see... Oh, I just realized with the spiked armor I can put a spike. I don't need the hook. We're good. And then the magical implements. Some of these y'all already know of, like the magical tattoo. That's one of my favorites. Not too much has really been updated there. But now I'm actually... So, is there anything, Jake, that you want me to cover before I go to the classes? Because I was going to go and show some of those things there. Yeah, and that's true. So, and we did it that way because of the way the grid calculates. Did you do... destructible objects. No, I did not. Here we go. Destroyed items. So, these are the destructible objects we were talking about, and kind of how that works. So let me just read this verbatim. I'll have Jake talk to it too, because of just how it works. There may be times which you will need to destroy an item. Before you can destroy the item, multiply the item's HP value by the size of the item. Size 1 is 5 feet by 5 feet. Size 2 is 10 feet by 10 feet, etc. To destroy an item, you must do a minimum amount of damage to the item called the damage threshold. Subtract the threshold from the total damage of the attack to determine how much is done to the item's overall HP. When the item is destroyed, you gain a fourth of the weight in materials, or whatever the item is made of. For non-magical items, use the following chart to determine how to destroy an item. So, here are some good examples of the rigidity. Fragile, glass pottery, has a 0 damage threshold, which has 1 HP. Like a support in the rigidity, you have wood, gold, and cloth, and that has a 5 on the damage threshold, so 20 HP, so on and so forth. So like hard, it's like the difference between, and people would have this questions, okay, stone versus iron, right? Well, the stone would fall under the solid, and that has a 10 of the damage threshold, which would have 10 less HP than something hard like iron, which is a 20, versus with the 40 HP. And Jake has stated this is for all non-magical items, and he's putting emphasis on that because this is like how Marine was earlier talking about going to someone's home and like smashing it, right? So wood, like let's say the home is made of wood, it is a support rigidity and it has a 5 damage threshold, so it has 20 HP for a piece of wood, or however you would like to calculate that here based on the size 1, size 2, so on and so forth, right? So that's kind of important to note, and that's why we're pointing it out that way. So if a home, because a size 1 creature is like a human, right? A size 2 is like a Tuskar. A home would be, depending on the home, like you could have a Tuskar home, right, versus a human home, and they are very different sizes, right? So that's also something you'll have to take into consideration as a game master when you're doing that. Jake says these values can be changed based on the size and at the discrepancy of the GM. Right, exactly. So GM makes your GM makes your rules But for GMs that are curious in how this works down to its finest depth, this will help you so you can map those things out. It's very important. Nick's trying to put a scope on a sling. It's the new goal of the Twitch stream. Make it happen. That's funny. So, destroying materials, again, just putting emphasis on it for those of you that are game masters, those of you that know game masters that are curious about these types of things in Adia, and those of you that are watching that are testing. So, and Marine has a great question, so I'm gonna read this off. So, do the different materials have damage weaknesses, like how iron becomes more brittle if you freeze it, or how glass can shatter very easily when exposed to temperature extremes on either side? And I will let Jake answer that, and I will take a drink of my Dr. Pepper. So Jake says, at this time, no. That is going to be something up to the DM. So yeah, the Game Master for now. In time, that could be a thing. So that's important to note. Important to note if you're creating a campaign. Alright. Sorry. No one came here to hear you sing, Smunchy. Oh. So as the GM, you can decide that certain damage types reduce the damage threshold. Right. So that's kind of the cool thing about this. Which is kind of cool. I mean, it's exciting. Yeah, I figured you might like it, Marine, for sure. It's a really cool. To me, it's something that I would want too in a game. Like, you know, if I'm building a home, right, and I don't know, let's say I'm building a fortress. I don't know. That sounds crazy, but it's true. Like, let's say I'm building this fortress, and I'm like, all right, everyone, go out and you know, get this much wood. You know, and I'm like, in the game, you know, I can actually calculate how much my NPCs are gathering, which is kind of cool, and then how much the PCs are gathering to build for this thing, because they're destroying trees, right? And it's up to you, you know, how to calculate that size of the tree, which is a Tandora tree is massive. So anyway, Jake then continues with, we don't have those here because that requires us to make a table based on every known material in the world, which is insane. And yeah, he's not a material scientist, but this can help determine if something breaks when falling. Yeah, which is, that's also true. I didn't think about that. So like, if, you know, let's say you're in a fight scene and or someone lunges at you, and the game master wants to say, as you step back, you know, there's like this glass container, right? That's holding a magical heart that's beating, right? And just before that, all of you heard as PCs that if this heart ever gets out of this container and hits the ground, it will contaminate the entire building and like rot through the ground. I don't know, right? And everyone will fall through it and die. So if you if you hit this thing off and it shatters, right? Anyway, I don't know. Just good examples. Okay, I'll let you continue with your slingshot and scope. All right, let's go to classes. Unless there's something else you wanted me to cover, Jake. I'm gonna go back up here. Where am I? Races? Classes? Here we go. Alright. I have nothing else in that chapter that doesn't get super deep. That's true. I'll let others go through that and discover through equipment, because there's so much in there. Alright, so here we go. Starting loadout, and this was probably the top most requested thing from everyone, which makes sense because you need it to play, right? And you need it to play well. So here you go. You have your starting equipment loadout for your assassin. You gain the following equipment, or the starting, we should probably update this. This is starting gold, outlined in Chapter 8, page X. So you get 2 daggers and 3 throwing knives as an assassin. You start with that. You also get one of these: short bow, hand bow, light bow, crossbow, or light. Sorry, short bow, hand bow, light crossbow, or flintlock pistol. So one of those. A quiver with 20 arrows, a quiver with 20 bolts, or a pouch with 20 bullets and 20 doses of black powder. Okay. So the ands and the ors matter. 2 daggers and 3 throwing knives, but then you get to choose one of those, right? Leather armor. So you start off with a brigandine, which is like a chest piece. You get pants, boots, and bracers. You get the choice of either a thieves pack or a traveler's pack. You also get a pouch with 15 copper in it. Oh, hey, and it's not also Chapter 8. Yeah, I know. So these should probably all be updated. So that's starting equipment for the assassin. Let me know if you have any questions, and I'm going to move on to the Beastmaster, so feel free to ask. Here we go. So for the Beastmaster, oh, and Jake details, you can choose to take none of these and start with the currency that's outlined in the table shown earlier. Here, let's look at that real quick before I go into the Beastmaster. Here you go. Yeah, so you can spend XP to learn those toolkits. Oh, the other table you mean. Gotcha. Alright. So that makes sense, right? Do we detail that? Hang on, let me see here. Do we say that though, like specifically? We might want to mention that they can choose from the table in the equipment chapter and choose to do that. So somewhere in the equipment loadout. Just realizing that now as we're going through this. This is why we do this. Or the starting gold, yeah, outline. I would just say here in the case they skip all that, but we'll go to the Beastmaster. So this is starting equipment loadout for the Beastmaster. Same thing, gold outline in Chapter 8, which isn't, we'll get that fixed. 2 hand axes, a battle axe, or any 1 melee weapon. So you have a choice here as a Beastmaster. You also get 1 bow from the light range weapons. You also get leather armor, so brigandine, pauldrons, gloves, pants, boots, bracers. You also get a harvesting kit, and you get a choice. You can either get a hunter's pack or a traveler's pack. You also get a pouch with 40 copper. They skipped that, then it's not my fault. I guess that's fair. Mage. So the starting equipment loadout, you gain the following equipment. You get a quarterstaff, a wand or lesser spirit staff. You also get a mage's guild robe, so that's important because of lore too, but you get a mage guild robe. You get cloth shoes and cloth pants. You get a spell book, and then you get an alchemist's kit, and then you also get a choice of an arcane pack or a traveler's pack. Again, choices are important. A pouch with 20 copper as well. And then here for the monk, you get one of these choices: a quarterstaff, battle fan, battle claw, short spear, or 1 light range weapon. Your choice. You also get leather armor, brigandine, gloves, pants, boots, and bracers, or you get cloth armor, layered tunic, layered gloves, layered pants, shoes, and arm wraps. This is really important to point out for the monk, for anyone who wants to play a monk. Cloth and leather armor have different properties that you should very much pay attention to with like magic armor and physical armor. Okay? Cloth armor has better magical armor than leather armor, for sure. Um, okay, Marine. That's interesting. All right, and then you also get a cooking kit, and then you get the choice of a traveler's pack or a warrior's pack, and then you get to choose. You get to have a pouch with 15 copper. You don't get to choose; you just get that. Necromancer. Where am I? I went really far. Why did I do that? Sorry. You gain this following equipment. So you get a choice here: a quarterstaff, a dagger, or one other melee weapon of your choice. So that means you can get, if I'm reading this, Jake, the way that this says this, a quarterstaff, dagger, or one other melee, so heavy or light, right? Leather armor. They get brigandine, pauldrons, pants, boots, and bracers. And then they get a choice of an arcane pack or a traveler's pack, and then they get a pouch with 60 copper. All right, and then, the paladin. So a paladin gets this choice of a longsword, a heavy mace, 2 short swords. Notice how we put that in there. A dual-wielding paladin. Holy crap, that sounds scary, right? Or one melee weapon of your choice. You also get a shield of your choice. You also can have metal armor, and you get the helm, cuirass, greaves, pauldrons, vambrace, gauntlets, and sabatons. Or you get leather armor, you get the brigandine, you get a hood, pauldrons, gloves, pants, boots, and bracers. Right. So Jake details this. Going back to the necromancer, they can take any melee weapon, but you have to be wary of your proficiencies. So that's really important. But here again, going back to the paladin, you get the Fireforge recruit pack, or you get a choice of the warrior's pack. It's up to you. You also get a pouch with 25 copper. Congratulations. Priest. Alright, you get a choice of a quarterstaff, a light hammer, or a short spear. Come with cloth armor, automatically. You get robes. That is different than a mage guild robe, by the way. So you're going to want to see that, pay attention to that part. Layered pants, layered gloves, shoes, and a cap. You automatically get the lesser spirit staff, which is cool. You get a medical kit, and then you also get the fire. You have a choice. You can either get the Fireforge recruit pack, or the Traveler's pack, and a fire and flame kit. Okay, which is interesting to note because it really gives you. I mean, most of those, there's a lot of roleplay elements there, but they're really interesting choices to choose from, in my opinion. And then you get a pouch with 40 copper. All right. Then the ranger. Wow, my mouse does not like me today. So, with the ranger, your starting equipment, you get to choose one of these. A longbow, a light crossbow, a flintlock rifle, which is amazing, because that's what I'm going to take, or one light-ranged weapon. You also get the choice, or you get, are these choices? Is there an or in here? A quiver of 20 arrows, a quiver of 20 bullets, a pouch of 20 bullets, and 20 doses of black powder. So this is and, so I guess you get all of this. I didn't read that properly the first time, but now I did, so that's interesting. You get everything. Maybe. Maybe not. This should be or, so I'm going to do this. And Jake, you might want to change that for you on the dev side. So you get a choice. That's what I thought of the 20 arrows, 20 bolts, 20 bullets. Oh wait a minute. This should be and or there we go. And then you get leather armor as a ranger. You get a choice here. Okay, this is really important for some of you that are playing ranger. And Marine made a great point because the ranger just has so much depth to this class for what it is. And this armor really matters, okay? So you either get leather armor, brigandine, gloves, pants, boots, bracers, and pauldrons, or you actually can choose to have cloth armor as a ranger. So remember, cloth armor has more MA, magical armor, versus leather armor, which has more physical armor. So it depends on how you want to play your ranger. That's really interesting. That's a very interesting choice to take. So if you choose cloth armor, layered tunic, layered gloves, layered pants, arm wraps, shoes, and a cape. You get a cape as a ranger. I want a cape. I'm going to get a cape. I'm going to get a flintlock rifle, right? I'm going to get my 20 bullets and 20 doses of black powder. And then, yeah, that's awesome. Now I get a choice here, too. I can either get the Warriors pack or I can get the Cartographers pack. More than likely, knowing me, I'm going to choose the Cartographers pack for my ranger. I'm like building my character with y'all on stream already in my head because I want to play this guy. And then you get a pouch with 40 copper. Oh. That was weird. Sorry again. Again, I'm getting sick. I apologize. Where are we? Shaman? Why can't I click on the shaman? Come on, Batman. There we go. Alright. So as a shaman, pick up game of Paths with Smunchy. Oh jeez. We should do that sometime. Not today, but we should definitely do that sometime. So you get a choice here as a shaman, as your chamois. Battle claws, a ranseur, a halberd, a battle fan, or a light melee weapon of your choice. Okay. Shamans get leather armor. So brigandine, pants, bracers, boots, and pauldrons. They also get something very special called a totem. It's not like your typical totem. It's what the sensei or whomever is being initiated as a shaman decides to come in and become a shaman. It's a spell amulet. So it's a totem that is around their neck. If you're more curious about the totem, you should go read about it in the equipment and the magical implements, because I think it's in magical implements. Should be magical implements. Go read about the totem. It stores a spell in it. But it can't ever be replaced. So, yeah. You also get a choice of an arcane pack, or a spelunker's pack, or a traveler's pack. So that's fun. I don't know. I don't know. I'd probably take like a spelunker's pack and choose the Great Griffin if I was going to do that. Just because. And then a pouch with 10 copper. Okay. And then here we are with the last class. Actually, let me go back to hear what Jake says in chat. Spell amulet is in the magical implements, okay. Totem itself is not in the magic implements. Oh, I see. Okay. Gotcha, that's why you have that in parentheses. Cool. So either way, you'll find the word spell amulet for sure. So creating a warrior, alright. So here we go. This is the last class. Totem is a skin. Yeah, totem is a skin for the spell amulet. So as a warrior, this is what you get. You get a long sword and a short sword. What? And these are choices. Or you get 2 battle axes, or you get a warhammer, or you get 2 melee weapons of your choice. On top of that, you also get 2 hand axes. And then you get leather armor. So helm, brigandine, pauldrons, gloves, pants, boots, and bracers. You get a choice, warrior's pack or traveler's pack. And then you get a pouch with 40 copper. So there you have it. Those are all the classes. I don't know why I did that. But that's what you get. And hopefully this has been very insightful for everyone to come out and like see these updates. I'm certain I may have missed some updates, but I think it's important to kind of note and talk about. Excuse me, I just made everyone yawn, and everyone else is probably gonna yawn. Sorry. Let me take a drink here before we continue. So yeah, this is kind of what is happening. There's a lot of updates in this last one. Again, if you have any questions about this, and I'm really glad we have these starting equipment loadouts, it really allows you to have a much better experience now because you have the starting equipment loadout. It tells you everything you need to know and how to play from that situation, and it has all the equipment updates, so you got everything. Again, I know there's going to be the question of, well, my character sheet. Yes, I know. I need to update that. Yes, that is going to be coming soon, and I do apologize because so much has been happening on my side. But with that said, if you do have anything, again, feedback, please join the Discord. Okay? Be awesome if you did. And I think it would help a lot. Actually, I just saw someone join the Discord. Wow. Welcome. Welcome, friend. Welcome to Smunchy Games. Welcome to the Discord. So with that said, there's a couple more things that I do want to talk about, just briefly. Kind of about the Paths update and just where we're headed. And if you had any questions, I kind of want to open this up for questions. Yeah. Let's take a look at chat. Yes, and what Jake says, every piece of feedback is welcomed and encouraged. Absolutely. Marine says, I want to play a Paradisian elemental experimental mage that is a crow. That's cool. His name will be Noctis Bloodwing. That's awesome. I love that. As he levels up, he will learn more and more about nature and will eventually subclass shaman. That's going to be interesting. I can't wait to see it. That's going to be cool. Wonder which paths you're going to take and how you're going to do that. Jake says, in a future book, we may put explosive pellets as an ammo type. I actually know one of our products it will fit in too well, which is true. Yep. It's alright, Marine. I tried. I'm sorry. So yeah, like, if you have any questions here, now's the time to ask. What I'm going to be doing after questions, I will probably take a break to eat dinner because I'm hungry. And then after I take that break, which it'll probably be a couple hours, 2 or 3 hours, depending on what's happening here, then I'll fire up the stream again, and we won't be talking about paths. It'll be more of like a really chill stream, so this isn't like a mandatory thing for anyone, like any staff. If you're wondering, you don't have to be here. This is more of just me hanging out and working. So I'll have like a chatting thing going on while I'm doing this. And you'll actually get to see some like the way I create some things in the background, like all those fun stuffs going forward. Maybe even some sneak peeks at things if you're interested. That I have working in my head as always. So thanks, Marine. I appreciate that. Yeah, because I know, like, again, I'll just make some plugs here. If y'all want to watch the new Monster Hunter while I'm, eating, go watch Marine. If you want to not join us, that's fine too. Later, honestly, it's going to be just a chill session. I'll probably talk about world building or other things too, as I always do, because y'all know me. Y'all should go watch Nerdalopedia, because they're going to be doing a D&D live stream. So that'll be pretty cool too. I always enjoy it. It's hilarious. I love the clips. Can't repeat them here, but they're great. Yeah. So I mean, some of the things coming down here with paths, and now I can kind of like talk more about this because we're in 2020. You know, as we're pushing toward the new Kickstarter, the new updates that are more toward the end of the year, and like the official stuff, you know, you're gonna see the new modules. So right now, I actually get to talk about what we're all working on. I talked a little bit about it, I think, in my first stream when I came back from the holiday, but I'm going to talk about it again, just in case anyone missed it, or if you were curious, kind of going forward. So we have, let's see, we have the player guidebook, okay, so that's a big book. We have a traditional module called Trade Trouble, which is a book. We have a traditional module called Wild Roost, which is a book. We have a GM in a box, which is like cards, right? An adventure type of module. That's Secrets of Tyner. We have another GM in a box, which is the same thing, cards, and that is Relics of the Past. Okay, that's 5. And then we have the Field Guide of Central Wallenhide. That's 6. So there are 6 things launching in this next Kickstarter, and at different tiers too. Now, if you're someone who just wants the player guidebook, you can just have the player guidebook. If you're someone who wants, you know, the player guidebook and the GM in a box modules, you can do that. If you're someone who wants that and the, you know, modules, you can do that too. And we'll probably have, what we're going to do, because we learned from last time there were way too many tiers for people to choose from, we're going to condense them, and then if you want to add on anything, you can. You'll have to add it on through the price by updating it on Kickstarter. So you'll like we'll have the prices listed, and then you'll have to actually enter that in. So there's 6 books, or 4 books, 2 card boxes. All right, so there's a question. Nick said, how much art is left for Paths? Jake says all of it. So what Jake is stating, yeah, Paths never ends, so there's a lot like in there. The player guidebook, I think the art only has a few more pieces. It has like 1 or 2 that I want to do, but they're not big scenes either. They're like small, like weapons or magical implements. They're really small things that need to be added to the book. Other than that, that's just the player guidebook. If you're asking about the modules, yeah, there's a lot of art that needs to go, is left. So Wild Roost has 2 or 3 out of like 25. Relics of the Past has none. Secrets of Tyner has all but 1, which is a small piece. No, 2, but they're really tiny. And then Trade Trouble has 1 out of like 20. And then the Field Guide has none. No, wait, I lied. Field Guide has 2 actually out of 25. The Field Guide's kind of a wild card because the Field Guide, like our player guidebook, it can grow or it can shrink, and it kind of just depends. So there's a lot of art in those for sure. But for the player guidebook, it's pretty much done, which is incredible. Now, if you count the layout as art, which I do, but the layout, we kind of already know what the trade dress is going to be. It's more about, you know, handing it off to Charlotte and doing it, right? So yeah, lots of art everywhere. Jake, I was so burnt out during the last attempt. Yeah, I know, the last Kickstarter. Yeah, so the field guide art, so for those who don't know, the field guide art, the field guide in general, is a little different than a lot of our other books because the field guide is actually from the perspective of a character in the world. All of the field guides are like that. Same with the creatures and curiosities. So field guides, I don't know Becky's last name, so Bailey will have to tell us here. Maybe Annie knows too. But the field guide is told from a courser, from her perspective. Her name is Becky, and she is in the book. You'll see a lot of like sketch art in there. It's actually pretty great. One of them that I do have right now is from Half Tusk Village. So like she sketched this out, and it'll be in there. Like it'll have her notes in there. You'll see all the different things. Is that Lanthal or Aenthal? Like Aenthal. Was that an I? I can never tell with the font. Sorry. But yeah, so you'll see a lot of sketch art in the field guides. You may see some colored work. There's not going to be much in there. There'll be a couple pieces for sure. But a lot of it's going to be black and white because it's being told from her notebook. So, it's an I. Okay, so Aenthal. Aenthal? I'm doing it now. So Becky Aenthal, you'll see it from her. Now, from Creatures and Curiosities, you are going to see it from a different character's perspective who's a monster hunter. His name is Yonfair Deathcry. And you'll see it from his notebook and his perspective and the different sketches that he does. And there'll be more colored art in the Creatures and Curiosities books than in the field guide books because of how they need to be. I'm silly. Oh, okay. It's an L. Lanthal. Okay. Lanthal. That actually makes more sense to me. Becky Lanthal. That is way better. So yeah, so Yonfair Deathcry and Creatures and Curiosities, and that's kind of going forward. That's going to be the norm for everything we do with Creatures and Curiosity books and field guide books. They will all be told from these two characters, and they will all be like from their notebooks. The modules, on the other hand, are going to be mostly full color, but they're not going to be like these massive, insane scene pieces all the time like the player guidebook either. So it kind of just depends on the module, and it depends on how big it is. It also depends on really what it's about. So you'll see, like for example, Wild Roost is actually a pretty decent size module. It's definitely larger than Trade Trouble, and you'll have quite a few different scene, like environment pieces in there, and actual scene, like combat pieces. You'll see that happening, and other things too, maybe like role play scenes too. But they're not beyond that. You'll see more of like busts of characters. You may see full body characters, right? So that's just kind of how that'll be. Same with all the rest of the modules too. Trade Trouble is going to be pretty great, just because the one art piece that we're going to get is a scene. It's one of the few ones, and it's when you're actually in Rollabog's chamber, or not his, well, like his war room, basically. That one's going to be pretty cool. So you got art to look forward to. That was a good question. I'm so happy that Creatures and Curiosities in the field guide are now publicly known. Yeah, me too. Can actually talk about them. So, Creatures and Curiosities, both of those I'm really excited for. So the field guide, I don't know if this will come up, but the field guide will have a lot of flora and fauna in it. But it's also, the field guides are meant to have new races in them and new classes as well. So, if any of your ears perk up. So can I plug your book in here? It's so good. Yeah, you can plug the book. I haven't plugged it in a while because for what y'all don't know is I'm gonna be doing a second edition of a War Drum of Death because there's gonna be more lore added into it. And now you know. Yeah, Jake's right. The first field guide does not have a class, but it does have a race. And the new playable race, so in the player's guidebook, what do we got? So I'll just go through this. So where are we? Races. So in the player's guidebook, of course, you get the Senzai, Coursers, Firecrest Elves, Humans, Orcs, Paradisian, Tuskar, right? In this field guide, you will get a new race that you get to play as the Gatwenga. So Gatwenga is a hyena person. And that'll be like a big, like, for everyone here on Twitch, you're always in the know because you get to come out and watch us. Which is why it's actually, I think, more important to come and watch us on Twitch because you get all the insider info. Where on social media, this will, we'll release the Gatwenga when we have, stuff ready for it. Here you get to see the official updates and some secrets. Marine says War Drum of Death is totally dope. Go buy it. Lots of lore and a great story. Yeah, it's good. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if y'all knew that, but yeah, we do have the novella series happening. There's actually a lot of cool. I just spelled drum wrong. But hey, that's cool. They found it anyway. Yeah, that's the book. This is what Marine's talking about. We will be doing. I know that's something y'all have asked about a lot too. So Bailey's actually in here. Yes, we will be writing like actual novellas and novels and more stories soon. We even have a short story anthology we're going to be doing too, with myself, writers, even some of the designers and devs who are actually writers too will be contributing. So it's going to be pretty cool. You're gonna get a lot of different stories from Adia. So Andrew's glove box. Why the glove box? Yeah, that's interesting. That's an interesting place. Maybe he's reading while he's driving. I don't know. But yeah, so you can expect a lot of that going forward, art-wise and all that, kind of giving you the lay of the land. I know for those of you who are regularly visiting pathsgame.com, I haven't touched it in a while, but you'll see, yeah, we're coming soon to Drive Through RPG, all that. That'll be after Kickstarter. A lot of these races and the classes were all updated. These might be updated again, though. So, just letting you know, you might see some changes on the website going forward. So, and in time, what's going to actually happen is once we start getting all the different covers for the books and the card boxes, you're going to see like a product list show up as well. That's for a mix of in the future purchases after Kickstarter, like if you missed the Kickstarter, which, hey, sometimes that happens to people. They're like, sorry, I gotta, pay this bill, whatever the case may be. If you do miss the Kickstarter, don't worry. There's always another time you can get it too. Which is, I guess, in a way, that's kind of like a bad thing that I'm encouraging that, because you want a sense of urgency in Kickstarter, but like, I get it. You know what I mean? You want to make sure you can afford what you need to. So if, like, here's another great example. If you can only get the player's guidebook from the Kickstarter, but you want like Relics of the Past and Wild Roost, you can always go and get it later. If you want the field guide to Central Wallenhide, you can go and get it later. But it'll be available elsewhere. Yeah, I know. Yep, you're right, Marine. So that stuff like that is going to be coming because of Frey, right? You'll see Frey, and I'll plug that right now too. For those of you that don't know, we do have a Kickstarter coming up. Right here. Ooh, that's not a good picture of one. Here we go. So Frey hits Kickstarter March 3rd. for those who don't know what Fray is, Fray, it's a pocket game, and it's actually set in the world of Adia. For those of you that are actually just joining, too, because I just saw a massive spike of people come in, so welcome. Fray it's super quick. It takes like 10 to 20 minutes to play, roughly. If you're really good at playing Fray, it's going to take you 5 to 10 minutes. And ages 8 and older. But this is actually a game based in the world of Adia, and actually the characters in the world play Fray. It's a common card game in the world. So, but yeah, this will hit Kickstarter March 3rd. We'll have 3 tiers at the moment that I know of. So you will have like a $1 tier with like a print and play. You will also have the regular tier, which is just the deck of cards for Fray. So that's cool. You'll get the little pack, which is awesome, and that's $13, so it's really affordable. Or you can get like the deluxe premium one that we're going to be offering, and that is going to have a neoprene mat of the battlefield. And I kind of want to show that to y'all, because I haven't officially announced this yet, so y'all get to see this early. I need to find it, though. Sorry. There's so much. Here we go. There's so much in here. Here we go. Final print. Is this it? I think this is it. Yeah, this is it. Okay. So maybe if I download this. There we go. I just want to make it bigger for y'all. There we go. So this is the battle. This is going to be the neoprene battle mat. Yeah, Adam isn't here for this, but that's okay. You know, Adam may watch this later. So, this is gorgeous. Adam did a killer job. So the sketch art, all the black and white art, these are done by Marco Morales and Leonardo Giordano. Those are 2 of our artists. And then the Fray logo is actually done by Blue Tuesdays, Leo. And then the mat itself is designed by Adam. Did a killer job. So I'm really excited. I don't know about y'all, but I'm gonna get the neoprene mat for myself. Just because. And you know, in the future we'll probably do other really cool neoprene mats as well. So, alright. Marine says, will there be a version available without the stains? No, not for this one. Not on purpose, because this was meant to be, to have that feel. This is what we like to call the core mat. So that's actually interesting that you want that. But I will give that feedback to Adam as well. It's interesting. Annie, I'm going to get all the things. The mat setup reminds me of Level 99's Pixel Tactics. Cool. Yeah. So, either way, it's going to be fun. March 3rd. Mark your calendars. It's coming, man. And that's kind of it right now. So, unless y'all have any other questions, I'm going to end the stream for now. I'll be back later. I'm just really hungry. Yep. Alrighty. Well, sweet. Thanks for everyone coming out. And I will see you in the next couple hours or so. Hopefully you'll get an alert. If not, I'll post it. Bye. If I can find the way to stop it. There it is. Alright, bye for now.